I was just always happy if I ran into you. Too,
Oh, that's so cool.
Unless you were in the
So
inside
this is-
with the crazy people.
We're rolling, right? So this is my old friend Ruby. We've known each other since.
I met you when you were 15.
So that would have been 1980.
So it would have been a long time. Yeah, it was about 1980-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I maybe had seen you at shows in 79.
Yeah, I hung out at the MAB and then I worked at the MAB.
Did you ever go to the Temple?
Um,
Temple Beautiful?
You know, when that was popular, I was in Japan for 6 months working as a dancer.
Oh, wow.
And I hardly went to any shows there. I think when I came back, I caught the tail end of it.
Yeah.
So I didn't spend a lot of time going there, but I probably went to a couple shows there. Yeah.
Cool.
That was one place.
So before I met you, did you go to shows in the city before you went to Japan?
Oh, all the time, yeah.
Yeah, so you were going to like...
I mean, when I was first moved to San Francisco, I went out every night to either the Fillmore or the Avalon Ballroom. Every night of the week, I was at one of those.
What were some of the bands you would see?
Everybody. Janis Joplin, Jefferson
biggies.
Airplane,
Yeah.
Santana. I saw the Cream like 22 times for like $3.
What were like the punk bands that you saw?
There weren't any punk bands back in those days.
So you're just like way back.
Yeah.
You're like in the 60s.
Yeah, when I was like ran away from home, I went to Haight Ashbury right off the bat.
Right.
And I was a terrible groupie. I still am, I guess. I can't really
As
get away
wicked
with
as we
it.
can be.
Yeah, but I hung out with bands and musicians. I always liked that scene, you know. And I went to, you know who I hung out with for quite a long time? The Tubes.
The Tubes.
Do you remember the Tubes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, one of my boyfriends that I was with for several years was their songwriter.
Yeah.
And he wrote White Punks on Dope.
Yeah.
And I was friends with them for a long time. And every once in a while I run into one of them somewhere.
That's cool.
But they
That's a
were
classic.
very popular for a while, like in the early 70s. They were so popular that Mick Jagger was like them, and he invited some of us to his 30th birthday party. And Sophie Waybill, the lead singer, invited me to go because they didn't have another guest to take. So it was fabulous. It's some old nightclub called the Orphanage in San Francisco.
Okay.
It was on Montgomery Street.
Okay.
And Mick Jagger was there. He was still married to Bianca.
Wow.
And he had Toots and the Maytals playing. And
Wow.
then he jumped up on stage with the Tubes at the boarding house to sing White Punks on Dope with them. That was fun.
I feel like I remember you telling me this story about Toots and the Maytals.
Yeah.
When I was like 15, and I was like, Toots and the Maytals, what's she talking about? I had no idea what you
This
were
was
talking
probably 1973-ish,
Right,
maybe.
right.
But then I also went down to LA with them to Hollywood. They did a 2-week stand. And all these drug dealers just kept coming to give them drugs and invite us to their house.
about. Right, because of the song.
Yeah, well, I don't know, they attracted that. And we all were doing as many drugs as anybody would give us,
Sure.
basically. So one night Chuck Berry pulled up, and he had a really cool car, orange metal flake. And he came into the party, and I remember moving furniture with him at one point so we could dance. I was sitting on his lap at some point.
Yeah.
And then we put him on the guest list, and he came to the Roxy to see the Tubes. And it was really cool to be able to do that for Chuck Berry, you know. I mean, it
Awesome.
was the Tubes doing it, but I was there with them.
Yeah.
And in San Francisco, you know, I really liked, you know, the local people. Like, I loved Big Brother, Jefferson Airplane, and all those people. I hung out with Boss Skaggs sometimes. And then when punk hit, I was like, oh, good.
Oh, good. All right, so what did that feel like?
Well, you know, everyone was really tired of, like, I hate to bad
rock and roll.
Journey, you know.
Rock and roll will never die.
Corporate rock. It was too.
Yeah.
Even the Tubes were kind of punky. They were kind of a transitional band because they did very good music. They're still touring. Those guys are my age,
Right.
so they're all like 70 to 75 years old. They're all touring, and they went to high school with Alice Cooper. So I did see him here a couple weeks ago. I took my son to see Alice Cooper. But
We're in Reno right now at the
Yeah.
Punk Rock Flea Market, Reno Punk Rock Flea Market.
right.
And
And I've been
Ruby
here
came to see
12
my
years.
band play.
Yeah, I've been living here about 12 years.
Super cool. I see Ruby when I come to
Because
town.
I couldn't afford to live in the Bay Area.
Yeah, the Bay Area got a little expensive. Yeah.
And one of my best friends, who was the bartender at the Mabuhay, Ike Lubinecki,
Yeah.
he moved up here and invited me to move
Yeah.
here and gave me this condo that I'm living in now.
Oh,
So-
sweet.
So I'm living there for as long as I want.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, you told me that. So tell me about the energy around the early punk scene. Like,
Well,
What
it
happened?
was like I was working as a dancer up in North Beach on Broadway. So in between shows, I'd run down to see the shows at the Mabuhay Gardens because it was all new to us. I had a few friends that started playing there, but they were still kind of traditional rock, trying to transition. It was getting more. And then the owner of the Mabuhay, he just loved all the girls that worked at the clubs. Of course, we were strippers, you know. So he said, "You're all free anytime. You can come in," you know. So we just would run down there. And I started meeting, like, crime. I was very good friends. I'm still very good friends with Ron Greco. He's on my Facebook every day. And I was really good friends with Britt Lee, and I really was sorry about him dying. I'm sorry about a lot of people that died.
well, at least we're here.
I know. And
Right now, we're here. I love it.
And I'm real close with Jello still, Jello
Yeah.
Biafra. I love the Mutants. They were probably my
The
favorite
Mutants.
band
One of mine too.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I loved them, and I thought they were
Yeah.
so different, you know, and
Yeah.
unique, and their music holds
So
up,
quirky.
you know.
Sally.
I love Sally. I just saw a picture of her on Facebook.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was in New York and went to some kind of event, and Sally was there, and
Yeah.
he put Sally up there. So
That's great. I haven't seen her in forever.
yeah, it's been a long time since
I
I've
saw
seen.
Sue. Sue was in one of the shows.
She lives in California
like 8
still.
years ago or
yeah,
something.
Yeah, I haven't seen them that soon.
I,
but-
I try to see them when they play. Usually they
yeah,
play when I'm at Burning Man.
I saw
and
them
I
at some
can't see them.
reunion shows and stuff, but I haven't seen them for a long time, and I was really sad that one of those guys died, Paul.
Yeah.
Because Paul and I had been corresponding a bit, and he was sending me his music online, and I was saying, "Oh, I like this," you know. He was real sweet. I liked
Yeah.
it. But they were definitely one of my big favorites of that whole scene. So
Yeah, for sure. What
I
were
mean,
some
there
of
was
your
some-
other favorite
who
bands?
else did I love? Let's see. I'm trying to think. I mean, I like the Dead Kennedys, the Mutants. Oh, I like the Offs.
The Offs. Nobody
were-
talks about the Offs.
Well, I knew Don Vinyl real well, and his friends were, because he was gay, and my gay friends that were going into punk rock, he was in their crowd of friends.
and they were a ska and a punk
yeah,
band.
yeah. And then they had different
They
people
were
in the band, but I
There
knew
were a
some of
couple
them.
of gay people in the Offs.
Yeah, I think I know Dawn was in it, and I know a lot of my friends liked Dawn, and we hung out in the same crowd of friends.
Yeah.
I just feel terrible about all the friends that OD'd on heroin.
Well, there's a lot of that.
I never got into the heroin. I didn't want.
The older
to
we
do
get,
it,
the
you know.
more friends we lose.
I know, but that was just a big waste of people. You know.
Yeah, yeah. One of
Thanks,
them.
you
One
know.
of the waves.
Yeah, I know that was bad. Yeah, I did
What-
like them. Who did I really loved? Who else did I like? You know, I really love Fast Floyd, but I know he has a horrible reputation. So
Oh, I don't even know. No one talks about Fast Floyd.
I loved his music because he was one of the first people kind of doing a rockabilly
Was he just
thing.
a terrible drug
Yeah.
addict or
No,
something?
he just was crazy.
He just was crazy.
He was crazy. I went out with him for a while, but he hit me surprisingly a couple
Do you remember
times.
Ricky Williams? How crazy
Oh, I
he
remember
was?
Ricky. Yeah,
Ricky
because
from the Sleepers.
he was
Ricky
like
Williams.
he was like a friend of my son because he was from Palo Alto. A
yeah.
friend of my son, I think, was his girlfriend and had
Okay.
a baby with him. Maybe
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. Maybe
Oh, yeah, I know her.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you know who I really did like Eye Protection.
Yeah.
They were really good. I liked that band and that guy.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
They were like new wave.
Yeah, they were kind of, but I thought they were good. You know.
So one time I was in front of a club and I was talking to Jello,
Uh-huh.
and I mentioned something about some new wave band, and then I said new wave, and Jello whirled around. And he said, "Don't talk about new wave. It's not cool." And I'm like, "Okay, dude, whoa, fine."
Yeah, I know.
Like-
I thought New Wave was. I didn't love it, but
We
Jello's been here to Reno a few times, so we've seen
Yeah.
him. He DJ'd at one of the debauches things.
yeah.
And he came up and did a show with Reverend Horton Heat.
Yeah.
And that was good. We went to that. You know, I'm still good friends with him.
So of all time, of all the punk shows that you've been
Uh-huh.
at, what's some of the craziest shit you've seen, or the craziest sets? Some of the craziest acts, some of the craziest.
Well, I guess like DOA, he peed off the stage. He was known for that though, and Herb Cain was there.
Oh wow!
Herb Cain was there, and I got
So
Joey Shithead.
he
his name
peed
was.
on.
No, he peed off the stage,
And
but
Herb Cain's
Herb
on.
Cain was sitting in the back having
Who
a
is it?
martini. But I was really excited because Herb Cain gave me $1 tip. And
That's
that was
like-
about the biggest tip I ever got.
That's like
in that
urinating on the.
But he wrote about it and he loved it.
Oh, he wrote about it and he loved it.
But you know,
okay.
I was in the white trash debutantes for a few years.
Yeah, with Ginger.
Yeah, and I did quite a few shows. We had a really good time. We had
That's right.
Lenore Cottrell that was like 85.
Yeah, Lenore was awesome.
She came up in hot pants and sang Highway to Hell.
Yeah, Lenore
I
Cottrell was
loved
amazing.
her, and I miss Ginger. We're in touch all the time.
And there was who was the drag? There was a drag queen that was in the band back in the early days.
I think there was
There were so many.
there were so many
queens.
drag queens. I can't remember.
Yeah, the scene was so
San
great.
Francisco.
The scene was so good back then.
It was real fun.
70s, early 80s.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, I mean, I loved it. It just turned everyone's lives around. I think because you saw, oh, this is cool. We could be different, you know. And I started inventing some crazy things to wear, you know, to the map.
So in 1980,
Uh-huh.
I would bump into you at a show,
Yeah.
or I would run up to you at a show, and I would say, the cops would be like shaking everybody down.
Oh,
And
yeah.
being like, it's curfew! It's curfew!
Well, they harassed us for when Jello was running for mayor.
They were harassing all the punks.
They would shut they would raid us and have the fire department come in. I think Diane Feinstein told them to go get us.
And me and some of the other kids were 15 or 16.
Yeah.
We would run up to, there was you, and there
Yeah.
was another woman, Rizzo.
I don't
She's
remember
around,
her
I
now,
think,
but
still.
I don't know. who
But
that
I would
is.
run up to you and I would be like, oh, here's my mom's right here. I'm with my mom. And you'd be like, yep, I'm his mom.
But,
Everything's
you know,
cool.
We were allowed to
No, he's
have
good.
minors in there.
If you were with your
if
mom.
if we were serving food.
Oh, yeah.
So we tried to serve a certain amount of food, but we didn't always have the kitchen up and running.
Yeah, and not all clubs had food.
And then one time I was in there, and they came in and went in the bathroom and took a drink off of the sink that some kid had put down there, and he wasn't old enough or something. So I got arrested,
Oh,
and I was like, you know, we do the best. We have X's on their hands if they're too young, but
right.
but somebody maybe gave him this drink. I didn't hand it to him. But these guys that busted me, they hadn't been in there before and like hitting on me and stuff, and I just was like, ugh, you know? So they didn't like me. And this guy said, well, we don't like you. We think you're one of the worst influences on youth in this city. I'm like, me?
You were nothing but encouraging to me. And
So I
about
tried to
everything
be-
with music
And
and,
I tried
positivity.
to look out for kids, you
Yeah,
know.
when
'Cause
I was a
had
kid, you were
at
there.
home, you know.
Yeah.
When my kid was on summer break, he came up at night and stayed, you know, he loved it. He got to meet all these people when he was younger. But yeah, I had to have a benefit for the lawyers, but they dropped the charges apparently. So
Oh, wow.
later they decided it wasn't my fault. The club took care of it or something.
They were so mad.
They did. I think these guys were just mad because they were not attractive, and I gave them bad looks, and I wasn't responsive to them hitting on me.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because I
You
probably,
were always the blonde bombshell.
Yeah,
lady.
I tried. I tried to wear the coolest
I mean,
outfits. And, you know,
I remember in 1980, you were just always just like the red lipstick and ruby, and just like
Well,
you have not
And I'm
changed
just saying,
at
I
all.
still am.
You have not changed at all. You're rocking the plaid pants.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
What's the point of life if you're not having fun?
And what'd you do today? You came to a punk show.
Yeah, well, we came here yesterday too. So.
Yeah, to the punk rock flea
Yeah.
market.
I mean, first thing I have to do every day is walk my dog, and she made me walk about 45 minutes this morning.
Wow.
She keeps me in shape.
So it's been a
you
long
know.
day for you.
Not really, you know.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to watching the Raiders game. It's starting
Nice.
right about now.
Okay.
I'm taping it.
Okay, cool.
And then my favorite TV show, The Walking Dead shows.
Oh yeah,
Any Walking Dead, I love it. So
I love it too.
I love the Daryl Dixon one in France. Have you seen it?
Oh, haven't yet.
Oh my God, where do you see it? It's
All
all
right.
in France. It's really classy because they speak
Wow,
a lot
cool.
of
It's all
French.
French.
And like, there's one scene they're walking past Jim Morrison's grave, and they're singing "When You're Strange" in French. So,
Okay.
and these shows are all like about an hour and a half, so you get like a movie
Oh, wow.
every week. Because he was my very favorite character, anyway.
Yeah, I think everybody.
I think he's the best one on there.
Yeah.
But there was 6 episodes, so you have to catch up on them.
I mean, Michonne was pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're coming back. She's coming
Yeah.
back. I saw the ads.
Well, anything about punk rock that you wanted to say?
Well, I think punk rock is the best thing in the world. It's so fun to see these little kids enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it changed the world. And most punk people are just all kind and generous people. You know, they're not materialistic. They're just, you know, it's all a nice, warm bunch of people. When I come out to these shows, I just
Yeah.
love it. And where can you see a bunch of toddlers dancing to the middle-aged queers? I mean,
Right.
come on.
That was fun tonight.
It was fun. So-
Okay, just to switch gears real quick. I know you want to watch the Raiders game, but
Well, I'm taping it. It's
yeah, but because I'm the president, it's like I want to ask people,
Uh-huh.
what are your politics? Like,
Uh-huh.
where are you? You know, and some people are like, oh, I don't do politics.
okay. No,
Or,
I'm super uber political.
tell me where you stand,
I'm
Ruby.
pretty far left.
Okay, what's that mean to you?
It means I'm totally. I mean, the whole thing about abortion right now, it pisses me off. But I think it's turning. You know, I think it's a bad thing for the Republicans. I was a Bernie Sanders person. I loved Bernie.
Yeah.
I went to a couple rallies here. I got my picture taken with them.
Hmm.
And I really think he would have beat Trump if they would have.
If he could have been.
If he was the, and you know, I was involved real heavily in those couple elections. I was a delegate here.
Wow.
I worked at the polls. I ran the caucuses, and I know for a fact Bernie won Washoe County. But then when they went to the state one, I couldn't go to the state one. It was in Vegas. I heard there was fights breaking out and everything because they're saying Hillary won Vegas or Hillary won Nevada, and she didn't. And we found out later, like from Michael Moore, you know, the famous
Mm-hmm.
guy. He said they found out in several states they said Hillary won when Bernie did, really.
Wow.
So it was kind of like, well, we don't care who you're voting for because we're going to have Hillary Clinton be the candidate no matter what people want. And that really pissed me off. I mean, I've been a Democrat all my life. It made me feel a little sour on them because of that reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust them. But I really don't want Donald Trump to be president again.
Clear-
I mean, that would
clearly.
be horrible. That would be so horrible.
I agree.
And then this new guy, that the Speaker of the House, he's totally insane. He doesn't even have a bank account. And he has apps on his phone with his son so they can monitor each other's porn intake.
What?
Like, you don't do that with
That's-
your son, you know?
That's weird.
And then he says things like, if you want to know what my politics are, it's the Bible. I'm just like, well, what about all the people that don't believe in that crap? You know?
Is it the Bible or is it porn first? Or
Yeah,
the
I
Bible?
know. What's first? Can you
Which
imagine
one-
sharing with your teenage son your porn intake?
Which one comes first? I mean, I have a grown son, and we don't talk about that.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't
I'm not.
think
I'm not in the
people-
Republican Party.
No,
so
they're weirdos. They're really
I don't.
weird.
Yeah.
You know, and they kind of presented him as being some middle of the road guy, but he's like real far extreme religious fanatic. And
I have not heard about this.
yeah, this new. What was his name? Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
Mike Johnson. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really crazy. So
Yeah.
I watch MSNBC all day long.
Okay.
That's how my politics are.
So you're like following MSNBC.
Yeah, I watch them all day.
You get info from there.
I love Ari Melber. I love Ali Velshi. I like mostly all of them. I love Lawrence O'Donnell.
Who should be president next year?
I don't know, man.
Besides me, I'll be president.
Yeah, I mean,
But who else?
I think Joe Biden's
The
done a
real-
lot of good things, but people don't seem to acknowledge it. But there's a lot of Democrats that I like that I think should be running for president. I've always liked this senator from Ohio named Sherrod Brown.
Okay.
And he's a very progressive, but he can also play middle of the road for the right people, you know. He'd be really great. I mean, I don't want Biden to lose for us,
Yeah.
but then who? Look what he's running against.
We saw so many "Let's Go Brandon" stickers on trucks.
That
and-
just makes me sick. Like they don't think we know what that means, you know.
Well, it's ridiculous.
And like I have relatives that live in Texas,
it's all over there.
and they're Republicans, so we don't really talk. We fall out and stuff. So
how about RFK?
Oh, he's got to be totally insane, that guy.
You think he is insane?
Yeah, his own relatives think he's horrible. You know, his own brothers and sisters are like, no.
Yeah.
You don't vote for this guy.
Right. Totally.
I think he's horrible, and all the Republicans forget it. They're just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis. My God.
What are you doing?
A little podcast interview.
You're good. Take
Yeah,
your time.
but
No
my
worries.
politics are pretty far left.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't want people to have guns. I'm really sick of kids getting killed.
Are you
in school.
anti-gun, or how do you feel about war
Well,
in general?
I mean, I don't like it.
Anti-war, maybe. Or...
I'm anti-war. I did march against the draft back in Vietnam, and I always was marching against that. I lived in New York for a while.
Yeah.
I got thrown in a paddy wagon, and I was on TV, and I was dressed really cool. So I'm like, I'm getting arrested. But then they let us go right away.
Is there
you know.
anything about politics or punk rock that you wanted me to ask you about before we go?
No, I don't think so. I think
Alright.
we've covered all the ground.
Give me a quick hug, Dana. Thank you so much.
I love you,
Alright,
and I'm
I
so
love you
happy
too.
to come to Reno.
I'm glad we could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
I'll see you next time.
Yeah. I'll see you next time I come to Reno.